Hi everyone, I'm Chef Barb with Be Sweet and Big Boi. Today I want to share a recipe that I grew up with. It's called Arroz Caldo. It's a really easy, very simple recipe to make. Anyone can make it, and the ingredients are really easy to find. So here are all the ingredients that you're going to need to make the Arroz Caldo. We'll need some chicken breast, some white rice, some chopped onions, minced garlic, some grated ginger, salt and pepper, and if you have in your cupboard some of the powdered chicken bouillon, and again, this is optional. If you have some saffron, you'll need a little bit of that. So let's get started. Let's start making our Arroz Caldo. The first thing you want to do is cut your chicken. I've got my 2 chicken breasts. I'm gonna make a smaller amount of Arroz Caldo today, not like the Filipino way when you cook for an army. So we're gonna cut up the chicken, and don't worry about cutting it in any uniform way. You can just cut pieces. Since it's all gonna go in the pot, you're gonna cut it all up. I like to cut it just a little bit smaller. I think it cooks faster that way. And you also don't need to use chicken breast. You can also use chicken thigh if you'd like. So now that that's cut up, just remember anytime you handle any raw meats to wash your hands thoroughly. And I didn't mention to you earlier, I didn't have any oil or any butters out there, but you can use olive oil, which I like to use before I saute anything. So I'm gonna pour about 2 tablespoons in there. So once your oil is hot, you're gonna take some of your garlic. And again, there's no specific recipe to this. Some people like a little bit more garlic. I like lots of garlic. You can kind of hear it sizzling and you can smell it. It's really good. And your chopped onion. I would say probably about a minute. You want to keep cooking that. You'll kind of see the onions get a little bit glossy. It's caramelizing them just slightly. Once you have that, you're going to take your chicken. You're going to throw it in your pot. Again, I think every Filipino house starts with onion and garlic. You can smell it kind of wafting through the house. And you're going to cook your chicken until it's cooked thoroughly through. It kind of reminds me of the guy at Benihana's when we go. And he says, would you like your chicken well done? Or would you like it rare? I like it cooked. So once your chicken is thoroughly cooked, you can add some of the other ingredients. You can add our grated ginger, a little bit of salt, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. I don't really like salty foods too much. And maybe another little bit of pepper there. You can add some of that saffron if you had it in your cupboard. And then I add a little bit of that powdered chicken bouillon. It gives it just a little bit more flavor. Add all that in and stir it again. And what I do is I'm gonna turn the fire off so I don't overcook my chicken. And next we're gonna place our rice in it with some water to give it broth. And I made rice earlier today, but you can make rice whenever you want. I mean, you can purchase rice. So I'm gonna grab that rice that I made, but you can make rice in so many different ways. Well, I'll teach you how to make different ways to make special rice. That's gonna be on another video. So I'm gonna throw some of that rice into the pot, maybe about 2 cups. And I'm gonna stir that in with the chicken and all the spices. And then I'm gonna turn the fire back on to medium heat. Give it another stir, maybe another couple minutes. And then I'm gonna add some of the water in to create a broth. And I've got about 2 cups of water. Again, you can add a little bit or a lot. You can have it be really soupy and liquidy, or you can make more of a thicker soup, a thicker Arroz Caldo, which is more like a porridge. And I would let it simmer maybe for about 10 minutes. It will start to thicken on its own. And all of the flavors and all the seasonings you put in there are what make it so good, especially the ginger. So some people like their Arroz Caldo a little bit thicker, or some people like it a little bit more soupy. The longer you stir it, the thicker that it's going to get for you. And sometimes the next day when you refrigerate Arroz Caldo, it really sucks up all of the liquid. So then you'll have to add water back into it, and then maybe a little bit more salt and pepper just to flavor it. So right now it's a little bit on the thinner side, but I'm not very patient, so I'm gonna add a little bit more rice. But the longer you let it sit, the thicker it's gonna get, and it turns into more of a porridge. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more of the rice that I made into it. And again, it's a personal preference, so you can add as much or as little as you'd like. And again, if you're impatient like me, you're gonna wanna add more rice to get it going. So now my arroz caldo is a little thicker. It's more like a porridge. I'm gonna give it a taste to see if I need a little bit more seasoning. It's almost there, but I think I'd like to add a little bit more of the powdered bouillon. Again, it's a personal preference. So if you want it a little bit saltier, you can add a little bit more salt. If you like a little bit more ginger, you can add a little bit more ginger into it. Saffron gives it a really nice taste as well, so you can add a little bit of that. So now that our arroz caldo is all done, I cleaned up a little bit and I'm ready to serve it. So we need a bowl and a ladle. It's gotten real thick like porridge now. And all the flavors just sink into that porridge and it's gonna be delicious. So as you can see, it's real thick. And then I'm going to also have some green onions. And I've made some fried garlic for on top. And then I've picked some lemons from my tree. And I have something really special and yummy. We make this in-house at Big Boi. It is our garlic chili oil, and it's really good on arroz caldo. Grab my spoon. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon in there. And some chopped scallions. And a little bit of that fried garlic. And just a little bit of that chili oil. It's got some chopped garlic in there as well. It gives it a little bit of smoky flavor. And here you have your arroz caldo, ready to eat. You can mix it all up. You've got the chicken that you've cut up and all of the spices that you've put in it. Good. Thanks for spending time with me today. I hope that you'll like your arroz caldo. For the full recipe, click on the link below and follow me on my Instagram @mybsweet or @GoBigBoi. Until then, salamat.